Right now, I would like to take the time to discuss something with you. I tell you, it's an incredible thing. The beauty of madness is seductive. It is. These days, do you think a generation raised on the entertainment of Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Descendants, is going to have any problem with getting involved in dark ritualistic activities? Yes, I'm talking about Burning Man. You know, the only people that go to this crap are the people that get off on this crap. And they will never, ever admit to any evil within what they do. When they were cautious at first, they were cautious. They did wonder, they did question it. But they didn't listen to that voice, they didn't hear it. And so they got caught up. And now every year they gather in rebellion. Because that is what Burning Man is all about. It is about the great rebellion taking place, not against man, but against God. And it is not just about the burning of a giant wooden man, no. It is about the burning of morality and faith within mankind. Folks, we have a problem. And it is serious, it is. There are people who gather to participate in an event they do not understand. They have been seduced by something they cannot see or touch. A force has drawn them in. Burners. That's what they call themselves. Let me go back a little bit. Can I tell you a story? But I want to warn you, this is going to be one of those WTF moments. So get this. Within the Celtic culture, there was a society of folks among the educated class that acted as teachers, judges, priests. They were known as the Druids. And according to the Roman Julius Caesar, any man of high class in Gaul, which at one time was part of what we know to be France, was either a nobleman or Druid. Now the Druids believed that the soul was immortal, and when you died, your soul would move on from one person to the next. And because they were judges and also teachers, people would go to them for instruction, and some willingly gave their lives so that they could be sacrificed. It was actually considered a punishment if they banned you from being sacrificed. This is how far gone these people were. Now, the Druids preferred to sacrifice criminals, but at times they did not discriminate. They needed bodies to burn inside of a woven wooden structure. We call it a wicker man or an effigy. So those of you who have seen a few of my most recent videos, you should have a pretty good idea of what this is all about and the way it works. To put it simply, there are people who have a narcissistic lust for supernatural power. In order to get that power, they have to rebel against God and commit an act of worship to these dark forces. And the best way to do that is through human sacrifice. It is the ultimate spit in God's face move, and that attracts these dark entities. And when this is done, they will take hold. So why would anyone in their right mind mock this behavior? You think it's just Burning Man? Oh no, this is a thing now. It's all over the place. South America, Europe. Any of you ever heard of Castle Fest? Well, in the Netherlands, here we go with these people again. In the Netherlands, in a place called Lies, they hold an annual fantasy festival called Castle Fest. And this horror con has been held on the first week in August since 2005. In the gardens of Castle Keukenhof. You know, I'll give it to them. At least they're in a garden with their clothes on, instead of out in the hot, life-sucking desert half naked. And their tickets are cheaper too. Did you know that the tickets for Burning Man, on top of everything else you have to pay for, is so expensive that they have a low-income ticket application? I kid you not. But like Burning Man, this event is nothing short of a nightmare. And yes, they burn their own version of the Wicker Man every year. Now, Burning Man is held in the Black Rock Desert in Nevada, a temporary metal city called Black Rock City. This has been an annual event since 1986, and it is held from August 28th to September 5th. That's just over a week in the desert, folks. So while everyone else was enjoying the hurricane, nearly 70,000 people, 70,000 self-righteous, degenerate jackasses, thought it would be a good idea to hop in their RVs, trucks, and cars and drive, and sometimes skydive, into the Nevada desert like they're freaking Mad Max on Fury Road, so they can enter George Miller's version of Club Ibiza for a week. And they actually have a Thunderdome where people fight in 100-degree weather. You think the Wicker Man is the only thing burning there? No, everybody's burning, baby. What person goes out into the desert sun with no clothes? Who goes out into the desert half naked? Are they crazy? Yes, they are. You've got to understand that they have a little society going on there, as this is not a festival, but a makeshift city in which people live for a week, made up of what they refer to as virgin and non-virgin burners. Speaking of which, they actually have a census report on their population, which is quite interesting. According to the report, it turns out they keep track of almost everything that they can about these people. They know how many burns people attend since their last burn. They know the average attendee is between the ages of 20 and 40 plus, which gives you a median age of 34. Now, children of all ages are allowed. In fact, children under the age of 12 are free, although there are not many children there. The majority of the adults have college degrees, and more than 50% of them make over $50,000 a year. And there is a good 20% that make over $100,000 a year. Now, there is slightly more men than women, along with 1 to 2% who identify with the 1 to 2%, meaning fluid, both, or neither. Yes, they keep track of gender identity, sexual attraction, and orientation. They also keep track of religion. Now, over 70% of the people there don't have a religion, but there is a strong 17% of those people who are Catholic, Christian, and Jewish. And they've got actual pagans beat by a good 15%. So the majority of people who attend are from the US, although you have people from all over the world, with a few well-known YouTubers and celebrities in the mix. About 80% of these people are white Caucasian, with about 6% Asian, 4% Hispanic, Latino, and 1% Black. There are a few who fall under Native American, and the leftover 10% fall under other. They collect information on the percentage of people who feel like they belong to a community, the percentage of people who feel that it is their home, and the percentage of people who identify as a burner. Burning Man has this rule about leaving no trace, meaning the playa has to look the way it did before people arrived. They are required to sort their waste and dispose of it properly, because they believe in greening your burn, even though there is nothing green there but the few plants they bring with them. At the same time, their number one source of energy is, of course, gasoline to power generators. Now, I should give some of these burners credit, as they have Burners Without Borders who volunteer and donate time and money to help local communities, such as assisting in rebuilding devastated communities after Hurricane Katrina. And I am sure there are several burners who will do the same post-Hurricane Harvey. They have Black Rock Solar, they have the Youth Education Spaceship Project, Big Art for Small Towns, They've partnered with San Mateo for Innovation Week, for education for youth. Most of these projects are based on community building and art, and basically the agenda is to take the ideas of Burning Man outside of Burning Man into local communities. You know, they want to show that they care about the environment and they are helping kids in failing communities. They have a marathon, a global leadership conference. They have something called gifting, which encourages burners to bring gifts for people, whatever it may be, food, drinks, souvenirs, etc. But to me, what they are doing at Burning Man is the same thing they do at CERN and these other organizations. They want the world to conform to their beliefs. They are trying to breed and spread a culture based on the ideas of just a handful of people, like Burning Man's co-founder, Larry Harvey. Relax, folks. I'm sure the name Harvey is just a coincidence. I guess it's okay to do things you should not be doing as long as you're contributing to society, right? Do not be fooled, folks. They're good deeds. This is all for public consumption to keep this thing from being shut down if they didn't do these things. So what would you expect to experience in a place like this? Sex, drugs, and music, right? Oh no, it's not like that at all. You need to open your mind and become one with the dust. It's about art, man. Love and peace, brah. Oh yeah? Then how come all I see is sex, drugs, and music? Satan here, Satan there, sluts as far as the eye can see. Am I missing something? Is that just the icing? Oh yeah, the art. The ugly, creepy, oversized, symbolic occult art. Don't get me wrong, there is some pretty incredible artwork there, I gotta be fair. Like the Sonic Runway, a 1,000-foot corridor of lights all driven by a sound system. You see? Do you see how seductive this place is? Even I'm intrigued. But folks, this is nothing more than some creepy, over-sexualized carnival of freaks and geeks. And if you see it as anything more than that, God help you. Come on, brah. It's not about that. It's not what it looks like. Well, then stop making it look like it is about that. See, there's that good is evil, evil is good thing again. Anyway, they are not into sponsorships. They don't book entertainment. Everything that happens there, folks, the burners created. It is an open community where anything goes. Within the confines of the law, of course. This is still held in the US, mind you. There are police, federal agents, firefighters, security, and people have been arrested, kicked out, and banned. I don't want to get into all the little things that go on there. I will say this. Harvey himself said that this is an experiment to see what type of utopian society could be created when people are subjected to a harsh environment in which nothing is for sale. A cashless society, huh? Now let's talk about the burning of this Wicker Man structure, this effigy. No. Nobody should be doing this. Period. You can't take something inherently evil and try to put some spin on it to make it look cool. But that is what people do. And people buy into it. I mean, the Druids used to jam-pack those things full of people and then burn them down. I mean, why waste a whole Wicker Man on one person, right? On Friday, they light up their $250,000 Embrace sculpture. A cathedral-like structure on the same scale as the Statue of Liberty. And you can walk around inside, just don't be in there on Friday. On Saturday night, they light up the Burning Man 40-foot statue, following a pyrotechnic firework display unlike any other. I wonder how many bodies they hid in this thing before they burned it down. I'm kidding, of course. Or am I? These people even have a site dedicated to burning their own homemade effigies. By the way, if you haven't heard by now, someone did die this year from running and diving into the flames of the burning effigy. And the only thing I have to say is, oh well, that's what they wanted to see. A man burn, right? What makes it even worse is that the next day, Some people went on ahead and barbecued themselves a whole pig, using the leftover heat from the charcoal of a giant burnt offering that killed a man. Oh, should I talk about how when you eat the flesh of a burnt offering, how you also eat the energy of the dark entity that possessed it? Anyway, do you know what 2017's art theme for Burning Man is? Radical ritual. That's right. Larry Harvey writes, and this is on the Burning Man website, beyond the dogmas, creeds, and metaphysical ideas of religion, there is immediate experience. It is from the primal world that living faith arises. In 2017, we will invite participants to create interactive rites, ritual processions, elaborate images, shrines, icons, temples, and visions. Our theme will occupy the ambiguous ground that lies between reverence and ridicule, faith and belief, the absurd and the stunningly sublime. The human urge to make events, objects, actions, and personalities sacred is protean. It can fix on and inhabit anyone or anything. This year, our art theme will release this spirit into the Black Rock Desert. Well, I guess that about sums it up right there now, doesn't it, folks?